Someone stole Genghis Khan's wife, and it set in motion a chain of events where he conquered the most landmass in the world. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Let's Talk Slots. It's going to be $2 Tuesday. At least that's what I thought. I also wanted to do Storytime Tuesday. I can't figure out what I want to name Tuesday, or maybe I'll just do both. Maybe I'll do $2 Tuesday, Storytime Tuesday. So anyway, we're going to do something in the neighborhood of $2 bets. We're here at the Harrah's in Kansas City. I wanted to film this actually yesterday, but they had the machines offline in this area because they were changing things out and they were moving machines around. So I wasn't able to film this yesterday. Come on. The minor is 50, the mini is 10. So the story of Genghis Khan, at least the one I wanted to tell today. It starts with a person by the name, person by the name of Usigi. I'll put the name up here somewhere. And I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it. Based upon the spelling, it looks like Usigi, but it could be Usagai or whatever, or like, how a Sicilian person would tell a man his gender, like Usagai. Anyway, I don't know, it's Usigi, I'll just use Usigi. So Usigi and his brothers are hunting, okay? And as they're hunting, a bridal party comes by after the wedding. So there's already been the ceremony. They come riding by. And what Usigi and his brothers discover is that the bride of the bridal party is extremely beautiful. And so they plot to basically kidnap her and take her from the merchant who just married her. And the merchant is a different tribe from what Genghis Khan's tribe. Come on. And it was a tribe that's just to the north of Genghis Khan's tribe. And so the unfortunate thing was that this merchant was high up in the, $125 balls. Those are pretty big balls. Those are 50X balls. Yeah. So he was pretty high up in the merchant tribe. Need 3 of those guys for the record. So we got 2 and then 6 of those. And he had just married this woman. Her name was Ho Lin. And so so this guy, Usagai and his brothers, storm the camp, kill the dude, and take his wife. And she gets pregnant. So there's actually maybe some debate on the timeline as to whether or not she was pregnant from the consummation of the marriage or from Usagai. But anyway, the child that's born, his name is Temujin, who becomes Genghis Khan. He takes the name Genghis Khan when he unites the tribes of Mongolia. And that put a rivalry between Genghis Khan's clan and the merchant tribe, basically for all time, right? So fast forward, Genghis Khan himself is 16 years old, and he is betrothed to a woman named Borte. I believe it's pronounced Borte. It could be Bort. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce these names. I'm not a Mongolian linguist, surprisingly. But so he's betrothed to Borte, and he marries her. And the merchants think it would be funny, since, the history of how Genghis Khan was born, if they stole his wife. So they come in and they steal his wife. Now, keep in mind, at this time, Genghis Khan is weak. His dad, Usagai, died when he was like, I think 11 years old or 9 years old, something in that time frame. And so he took over the tribe when he was like 9 years old. And a lot of the tribe left. So he was down to 12 people at one time. He built it back up, and by the time he was 16, he was still pretty weak, especially as a tribe. They were extremely weak. So they couldn't fight the merchant tribe. So Genghis Khan goes to, like his uncles, and he goes to another tribe that was friends with his dad, and he's like, hey, these dudes stole my wife. I'm going to go in there and get my wife back. So he assembles this party. He goes in there, and keep in mind, this isn't, this is back in the day, 1150 AD type time frame. So it's not like, hey, I just sent an email to somebody and they're like, hey, send soldiers, wife stolen, need help. Like you actually got to go and assemble these things. So some months pass by. He assembles his troops, And again, most of the troops are not his. And he surprise attacks the Merkits, and he gets his wife back. Now, the reason that this sort of set in motion a bunch of things, well, actually, I'm not done with the story. So he gets his wife back. The issue is that she's pregnant by the time he gets her back. Now, he basically says, hey, no one's going to question this child as mine, so he decides to raise it as his own. And so his first child, named Jati or Jachi, I've seen it spelled two different ways, Joti and Jochi, or Joci, Either way, it's probably pronounced Jati or Jachi. So his first son was probably illegitimate, but he raised it as his own and basically said, no one can question that this is my son. And so the reason that this set in motion a chain of events is he was a very, ambitious leader, young, but he had no soldiers. His tribe was very small and weak. But what he did differently when he won the battle against the Merkits was the spoils of war and how he basically divvied those up. Usually in their culture, and I don't know the exact percentages, so don't, quote these percentages, I'm just making them up. But let's just say, on average, the normal split was the leader of the tribe gets 50% of the spoils, the well-connected families get 40% of the spoils, and then all the soldiers split like 10%, right? That would be sort of the normal split of what they would do as a culture when they would raid someone else and basically take the spoils of war. What he did differently was, and again, I'm making these numbers up, he did something like, well, the leader gets 25%, the well-connected families get 25%, and the soldiers get 50%. So he basically like 5x'd their pay when they won. And then one other thing, and this is actually in the future what Genghis Khan did that also helped with this, was that he also made it to where you didn't have to be well-connected family to rise up in the ranks in the military. Typically, the generals, the lieutenants, the majors, and everything were well-connected families of the tribe. Usually, like cousins or the wealthier individuals of the tribe their children would become higher ranks in the military, and then of course they get more spoils of war. He made it to where if you showed military prowess, or you showed courage on the battlefield, or if you did something amazing on the battlefield, you could be for all intents and purposes a peasant and work your way up in the military ranks. So he did those two things. The second one was later, but this first one sort of set in motion two things. Like, he was a good military leader, even though he was only 16 years old, and he was more fair with splitting the spoils of war. And so that sort of set in motion where a lot of people were like, hey, maybe this young tribal leader over there of this small tribe, because his dad died when he was young and the tribe almost disbanded, maybe there's something to this guy. And so the fact that his wife was stolen gave him the means to raise an army and become sympathetic with a lot of people, and then attack them, win, and show his military prowess. So it set in motion the beginning of Genghis Khan's life, where he was able to basically lead a huge group of people not a huge group, but to lead the Mongolians to basically take over more landmass than any other group of people or any other person in history. So, come on. Not sure what the moral of the story is. Maybe like, don't steal people's wives. I don't know. That's not very inspirational. How about, if you raise another man's child, you'll have the strength to conquer the world? I don't know. I don't know what the moral of the story is. I just like the story. It's kind of interesting. That basically his dad stole a wife from someone else, and then they returned the favor later when they tried to steal his wife, and it just set in motion his ability to raise an army. And I think that one event, basically changed the course of history. So that's my story for Tuesday. I did want to say that I wasn't sure whether to do like $2 Tuesday or Storytime Tuesday. I like telling stories, so maybe I'll just do both at the same time. We'll do something like a $2 bet. Maybe I need to switch it. We were at pennies. Do something like $2 bet. So something in the neighborhood of $2. I noticed that people enjoy these bets. I thought people were going to care more about the bigger bets, and I don't mind doing either. I look at things as a multiple. So I'm betting $2, and if I win $200, that's 100 times my bet, which is a really good, bet bonus or really good line peg. I want 3 of those guys. The whole point of this game is to get into that bonus and get the 2X's lined up. Someone told me that saying 2X is offensive. I need to say 2 times. I don't know. I'm not going to really change the way I speak. But anyway, so the 2 times the multiplication, you can get those lined up where it's 2 times 4 times 6 or times 8 times 16. So 16 times a line pay is usually pretty huge if you can line them up. Come on. Ugh. Need 3 more. Can I get a Diet Pepsi when you get a chance? Thank you. All right. Getting my tip out. So yeah, let me know, do you like the $2 bets? What kind of bet range do you like? If you are interested in my content where I do bet bigger, that's going to be on Saturdays. I was going to call it Shot Taking Saturday. Oh, 5 again. I was going to call it Shot Taking Saturday, but I just decided to call it Ship It Saturday because it sounds better. But basically, I'm going to ship it in on Saturday where I do the bigger bets. And again, I'm theming my week. Method Monday, where I do different types of methods. Tuesday is going to be $2 Tuesday and Storytime Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be whatever Wednesday, whatever I feel like doing. Thursday is Theory Thursday, where I try out different theories. And, you know, I think the last 2, they weren't put out on Thursdays, but the last 2 Thursdays were something like, last 2 Thursdays were min bet pennies versus max bet dollars. So it was a $5 bet, but min bet dollars versus max bet pennies. And then different denominations, how they stacked up with each other. That was the last 2 Theory Thursdays. Come on. It is difficult to get this bonus. I believe multiple people have said that this is the highest volatility Dragon Link. I'm sure it probably ranks up there with Peace and Long Life because it's essentially the same mechanics. Oh, hey, thank you. No, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Appreciate it.
Yep. So anyway, I'm not sure if I finished that question, but basically let me know what bet sizes you want. My method Mondays will probably be like, you know, reasonable $1, $2 bets. $2 Tuesday will be $2 bets. I'm not sure what I'll do on Wednesdays. And then Fridays, Fun Fact Friday. And then Sunday is the Sunday Showdown, where I either put a machine against another machine or a group of machines against each other. I might even do like tournament style brackets at some point for some weeks. But I want to theme each day because I like having some organization. All right, well, this bet denomination isn't working either. Can we get close to $2 on nickels? $2, yeah, it should be $2.50. Well, pennies didn't work for us, 2 cents didn't work for us. I'm gonna go at least another, I would say 5 minutes. What do you guys think of Genghis Khan? It's, for some strange reason, it's my second favorite Dragon Link behind Autumn Moon. The issue is that I think I've lost more money on Genghis Khan than any other Dragon Link. And it's just because I really like the ability to get the line hits. And also too, I mean, I know a lot about the history of Genghis Khan. So it's kind of weird that on a machine where I've lost as much money as I have on Genghis Khan, it's still my second favorite. I keep getting 2. And I see his little hat was poking out up here. Oh, and I forgot to mention this at the beginning. I'll probably, voice this over, but I meant to film this on Monday, but this machine was down on Monday. And so here it is Tuesday, so I had to release my Wednesday video on Tuesday. I don't necessarily sometimes film them in order, especially now that they're themed. So, but I do 4 of those, 4 of her. I believe that's supposed to be his wife. But I really like this bonus. I just need to get the bonus. it's a difficult bonus to get because you can, in theory. Actually, let me take a look. Let's take a deep dive real quick into this. Okay, so the reason that this can be so lucrative is sort of look at the line pays, right? So 5 of Borte is 150 credits, which is $7.50. In the bonus, you can get 4 wild. So it'd be 2 times 4 times 8 times 16. So that would be 16 times $7.50. So on a $2.50 bet, 150 or $7.50 times 16. So that ends up being $120 per line. But in the base game, you could fill up all the rows of 25. So wherever Borte is on the first reel could literally be basically 1/3 of your line. So however many lines you're playing, it's essentially 1/3. So let's just say 8 lines. So your line pay could be basically $120 times, let's say 8. So it could be $960 for that one symbol in the bonus for a $2.50 bet. That's pretty good. That's almost 400 times your bet for one line. There's going to be 2 other symbols on that first reel. So, I mean, it could be anything, but most likely it's going to be poker symbols. But even poker symbols are going to be 40 times 16, which is 400, 640. So even poker symbols in that scenario, if you get them lined up at $640, that's pretty good for a $2.50 bet. So really lining up those multipliers is the whole point of Genghis Khan. Here in post-production, I forgot one very important part. In the middle of the screen there, it says all wins shown with the bet multiplier at 1. I'm currently betting 2 on the multiplier. So basically you can double everything that I just said. So per line, it's more like 240 for 5 of the Borte. So that's what I like about this game is just the potential of those free spins and how much you can actually win on such a small... Oh, nice. Finally. Each of these are $2.50. I said this yesterday, I'm going to say it again just real quickly. Easiest way to do nickels is take off the last one, and then divide by 2. So that's $2.50. That one's $5. So take off the last symbol and divide by 2. $5. Did I imagine things or are all of them live? Well, I guess it's not going to matter because I'm not going to land another one. Less than 20 times my bet. Not terrible. Not the best either, though. I wonder if I should commit to getting major. Oh no, 5. Major's 574. I wonder if I should commit to getting a bonus before a free spin bonus. I tell you what, we'll do another, let's just say 7 minutes or free spin bonus. I am playing in the tournament. There's the Run Good tournament going on, and the tournament starts in 30 minutes. So really, I need to get this settled and finish here probably the next 7 to 10 minutes. So let's do that. Bonus or 7 minutes. Oh yeah! All right, well. Now we just need to line up those multipliers like we just talked about. All right, free spin bonus. Let's go, Genghis. Multipliers. Multiplier? Hey, look at that. Got 5 of a kind times 4. $46. It's pretty good. Multipliers. Multiplier. Multipliers. Nice. Did we get 5 nines? We didn't. I think for 25 lines that's not a line, I don't think. It's pretty good though. $117. Multipliers. Multiplier. Hey. $281. Multiplier. Nice. Yeah. That's just what I just talked about. Is that 5? That's 5 of a kind. I'll have to figure it out in post-production how I got the math of this so wrong. But anyway, let's get back to the happiness. $650 for a $2.50 bet. That's amazing. That's almost 300 times. But that's the kind of thing you want to happen in the bonus. That's amazing. So sweet. We made a $390 profit. I had 500 and some free play in there, so I think I had 560, but I only count what I put in there. So $500, a $390 profit. Thank you for watching, likes and subscribes, and I appreciate everyone that's watching and commenting. Thank you.